It seems like Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam has put some pressure on Kevin Stefanski and Dylan Gabriel. Now, the owner has weighed in on this quarterback situation.
Cleveland Browns have lost the game. And we got to talk about the Cleveland Browns once again embarrassing themselves. Another loss, another excuse, and this time they're trying to feed us that Shedur Sanders had a minor injury, so he had to sit out against the New England.
Cleveland? Oh, Cleveland. You better grab a seat for this one, because just when it seemed like the Browns drama had reached its limit, Jimmy Haslam pulled a move so wild it sent shockwaves through the entire NFL. The man didn't just drop an injury update, he dropped a full-blown bombshell. Fans were left asking if Shedur Sanders even stepped onto the field or straight into a soap opera. Twitter's in flames, Browns fans are losing their minds, and the internet looks like it just witnessed a Hollywood script unfold in real life. If you're watching this, hit that subscribe button right now, because you know Cleveland never runs out of chaos. Seriously, this team could trend every single week just for existing. It's like they stare at the NFL calendar and say, let's outdo ourselves again, and boom. Out of nowhere, Jimmy Haslam, the king of unpredictable, shocks the entire football world with an injury report that feels more like a riddle than a diagnosis. And the headline? Shedeur Sanders. Yeah, that's Shedeur, the college phenom with the golden arm who was supposed to be the Browns' future franchise quarterback. Suddenly, he's ripped from the QB2 spot like someone deleted him from the roster mid-season. The official reason? An injury report so confusing, it might as well have been written in hieroglyphics. No one knows what's real, what's exaggerated.
Fire the coach! Fire the coach!
We want Shedur!
We want Shedur!
Number 2 is ready!
Number 2 is ready!
Let him play!
Or if this is just another Haslam headline stunt. Now, Cleveland's been through wild times before, endless quarterback switches, locker room leaks, coach drama, but this one hits different. This feels like the Browns' future just got tossed in a blender, hit puree, and poured out as pure confusion. Because right now, it seems like the entire depth chart depends on how many plot twists Haslam can cram into one press conference. The Browns aren't just playing football anymore. They're starring in their own live-action series of chaos. The news hit like a meteor crashing into Cleveland. One moment, fans were hyped about Shedur's smooth preseason throws, his calm confidence, that natural leadership everyone said could save the Browns. And then, bam! Just like that, QB2 was gone, vanished, replaced out of nowhere like the football gods woke up and said, let's remind Cleveland that happiness is always temporary. What a cruel twist. Reports say Jimmy Haslam personally gave the green light after seeing an updated injury report, which in Browns language usually means somebody sneezed during warm-ups, and the medical staff went into full panic mode. You can't make this up. The team's communication is so messy that every minor update turns into a front-page scandal. But here's where it gets straight-up comedy. Browns fans have gone full CSI mode on Twitter. They're zooming in on every sideline photo, analyzing tape on Shedur's fingers, replaying warm-up videos in slow motion like it's the Zapruder film. People are posting medical theories like they just earned a PhD from YouTube University.
The world turns in Cleveland. We just got word today that Shedur Sanders will be out against the New England Patriots this week at home. Shedur Sanders was the number 2 quarterback behind Dylan Gabriel, but they just activated Bailey Zappi off of the practice squad, and it looks like, for all intents and purposes, that he will be the number 2 quarterback, citing a back injury.
In football anatomy, yet with all that effort, nobody actually knows anything. It's all chaos and wild guesses. Meanwhile, Jimmy Haslam's probably sitting in his office with a smirk, sipping coffee like a man who just pressed a giant red panic button and is enjoying the fireworks. Because let's be honest, Haslam doesn't just own a football team. He produces a weekly reality show disguised as one. Every week, it's a new episode. Who's our quarterback now? What does the injury report really mean? Or fan favorite finale? Did we just trade our future for more drama? And the timing couldn't be worse. All this drops right after fans were hyped about Shedur finally climbing the quarterback ladder. Just when hope started to build, Cleveland finds a way to throw it all back into chaos again. Shedur had been lighting up training camp like a highlight reel on fire. Every throw looked surgical, every drive had swagger. Defenders were left spinning like backup dancers in his personal halftime show.
Quarterback of the Cleveland Browns has been added to the injured list, and he's questionable for tomorrow's game against the New England Patriots. They activated Bailey Zappi, the quarterback, to the active roster. So he'll be elevated to the active roster. Shedur Sanders has a injured back, and he listed questionable for tomorrow's game. So it's a good possibility that Shedur may not be available for tomorrow's game. We'll just have to see. It's breaking.
Analysts everywhere were calling him the future of the Browns, the one destined to finally break Cleveland's endless curse. But the second that hope started to spread, it's like someone inside the organization panicked. Whoa, too much optimism. Shut it down before people start believing again. You almost have to respect how committed they are to disappointment. The Browns have turned expectation mismanagement into an art form, an empire built on crushing their own momentum. And then, boom, Cleveland Twitter exploded into absolute chaos. Within minutes, it looked like a digital war zone. Everyone had a theory. Some fans were yelling conspiracy, claiming Haslam didn't want to pay out the QB2 bonus that would have triggered if Shedur stayed too long in that slot. Others swore it was an ego move, a sneaky play to protect some fragile veteran's pride. And then there were the believers in football karma, saying Cleveland's just paying the price for years of bad luck and worse decisions. Because if any team could be cursed by its own ambition, it's definitely the Browns. The memes went wild too. Fans were cracking jokes like, maybe Shedur got injured watching too much footage of our offensive line. Ouch! But honestly, can you blame them? That kind of trauma sticks with you. Browns fans are used to pain. They just turn it into comedy at this point. Then came the wave of theories. Oh man, the theories. Some blamed the turf, some blamed the weather, and a few even blamed the ghosts of quarterbacks past haunting the locker room. But the real show began when reporters tried to get answers from the Browns staff. The responses were pure PR poetry, vague, robotic, and as empty as a post-game promise. They hit fans with corporate classics like, "We're managing his health status. We're evaluating all options. It's a team-first decision." Each phrase dropped like confetti, colorful but completely meaningless. You'd think they were teasing the launch of a new iPhone, not explaining why the supposed future of the franchise was suddenly benched and smiling awkwardly from the sidelines. Cleveland doesn't just fumble plays anymore, they fumble explanations too. And speaking of sidelines, oh, the awkwardness. Shedur showed up to practice looking like a man who just found out his Netflix pilot got canceled minutes before filming the finale. He's standing there, helmet off, trying to keep it together while every camera in Cleveland zooms in to capture the legendary.
Shedur is saying, why did you guys make me miss the game? Never negate that part. Shedur didn't want to sit out this game. He has to go to his professionals, his quote-unquote peers, the doctor for that lowly franchise, the Cleveland Browns. And once again, they sabotaged Shedur. They told him his injury was so significant, he has to quote-unquote miss this game. The truth is, they're uncomfortable with him being in the second string, and they think he makes Dylan so uncomfortable. This is why Dylan is playing horrible, because Shedur is right there waiting. So let's just diagnose him with a
is he fine or furious face. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a clipboard. Players are pretending not to notice. Coaches are suddenly obsessed with over-explaining every drill. And somewhere up in that fancy suite, Jimmy Haslam is probably smirking like a TV producer whispering, "Excellent, the ratings are through the roof." This could have been handled quietly, a few internal talks, maybe a short statement, but nope. The Browns just had to drop it midweek, right before the media storm hit full throttle. Because, of course, Cleveland can't just deal with drama, they have to schedule it for maximum exposure. And man, the fans are heartbroken again. Cleveland's faithful are like someone stuck in an endless breakup loop. Hope, heartbreak, repeat. Every season,
fake injury again. You know, the same kind of fake injury they did during preseason. They claimed that Shedeur had an oblique injury. All of a sudden, the Cleveland media and press say Shedeur is probably going to miss half of the season.
it's the same painful dance. They're like that ex who keeps getting "I've changed" texts from their toxic ex-partner. And every time, they want to believe it. They want to trust that maybe this time it's different. But then another stunt like this drops, and boom, they're right back to Googling how to emotionally detach from your football team. Social media went nuclear with memes. Fans were editing Shedeur's injury into iconic mystery moments. One had him fading away like Thanos just snapped his fingers. Another had Haslam's face photoshopped onto a mad scientist pressing giant red buttons labeled roster chaos and fan panic. And honestly, that's not even exaggeration. The Browns' roster management has officially crossed over from football logic into full-blown performance art. Meanwhile, across the league,
Cleveland Browns insider Mary Kay has just reported that Kevin Stefanski is going to stick with Dillon Gabriel coming after the bye week. He's still leaving him in after a horrible performance this week, and majority of the other weeks he hasn't thrown for 200 yards, but in one game, 2 interceptions and a safety, nothing but 2 passes that were over 10 yards in the air, and he's still going to leave him in. This says everything about collusion.
everyone's watching this mess unfold like it's some kind of NFL sociology experiment. Every analyst, every reporter, even rival fans are refreshing updates just to see what Cleveland does next. And those medical updates, they're pure comedy. He's progressing day to day. We're monitoring his situation. He'll return when he's ready. Translation: nobody has a clue what's going on. It's all smoke, mirrors, and ticket sales. At this point, the Browns don't need a PR team. They need a screenwriter, because every week, this saga feels less like a football season.
Shedur was at practice yesterday dancing, looking happy, moving smoothly. Then come today, he's on the injury report. Now Bailey Zappi is getting elevated to number 2. Y'all, this is not no coincidence. Y'all, first, Kevin Stefanski come out this week and say he has not been getting no reps with the first string players when Dillon Gabriel was getting the first string reps when Joe Flacco was a starter. How sway? Man, I hate the Browns organization. I hate Kevin Stefanski, y'all. I'm over this shit. I'll bite my hands with this shit, y'all. Why give my energy to this shit, y'all? They dog walked him. They used his name. They used his face. And then y'all treated him the worst and didn't even give him a...
And more like an award-winning drama titled Cleveland, The Collapse Continues. Cleveland's injury reports need a giant disclaimer at the top. All information subject to change depending on mood, weather, or executive confusion. Because at this point, every time a player gets so much as a paper cut, the Browns react like the whole franchise needs emotional rehab before kickoff. It's chaos disguised as caution, and everyone sees right through it. What makes it even wilder is the irony. All offseason long, the Browns were preaching about stability and focus like a motivational seminar. They were out here dropping buzzwords: unity, accountability, long-term vision, painting themselves as a franchise finally getting its act together. And then the moment things get a little shaky, boom, they eject their most promising young quarterback like he's an unwanted app, taking up too much space on the roster.
Rappaport put this tweet out about an hour ago. Browns owner Jimmy Haslam also weighed in on his team's quarterback, saying 3 games for Dillon Gabriel is not a great sample size and that the team wants to see more. He also said that Shedur is making progress in practice, so we're going to continue to work with both of those guys. Thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't really have a ton, because it kind of makes sense. It's him saying exactly what he should say. Shedur's progressing.
That's not strategy. That's self-sabotage with a headset on. It's officially the Cleveland way. Promise peace, deliver fireworks. And right on cue, Haslam's defenders sprinted online with the usual talking points. He's protecting the team's investment, or he's just being proactive. Please, That's like me saying I'm being proactive by deleting my fantasy team before Cleveland ruins my Sunday again. Every few years, it's the same loop: hype, confusion, injuries, disappearances, and somehow Jimmy Haslam is always right in the middle of it, waving his hands like a conductor leading a full-blown symphony of chaos.
Titan, bro, injured from what? Y'all just said he didn't get the reps. What the fuck is he getting injured from? Yesterday, what he do? Yesterday, I just seen the video of him dancing, y'all. I'm dead ass just watching the video of him dancing. But y'all gotta think outside the box. New England was gonna put belt to ass this Sunday, right or wrong. It was gonna become a blowout. Then, guess who he was gonna have to put in? Him. He was gonna have to put him in. Come on, y'all. I'm not no fucking fool, y'all. I've seen Stefanski and the Browns try to finesse Shedeur every single way.
Now, the real question everyone's whispering around the league, is this the end of the Shedur Sanders experiment in Cleveland? Because let's be honest, when the Browns temporarily remove someone from the QB2 spot, it's never just temporary. That's their secret code for "we're quietly phasing you out. Please act like it's mutual." And if that's what's really happening, then congrats, Cleveland. You've managed to scare off one of the most promising young quarterbacks before he even got the chance to show what he can do. Only in Cleveland could potential turn into a headline this dramatic. The thing about Shedur Sanders is he's different. He's got that rare mix the Browns almost never see: charisma, calm under fire, and real leadership energy. The man doesn't crumble when the heat turns up, he feeds off it. Yet somehow, here we are again, watching a franchise that desperately needs a spark go ahead and snuff out its own flame over another mysterious report. You couldn't make this up if you tried. If someone wrote this for a TV drama, producers would say,
Joe Flacco, so Stefanski would be forced to make Shedeur QB2. And he said, no, I'm going to go with Dylan Gabriel and elevate Bailey Zapp, who's been awful in the NFL. Now, this is organizational malpractice if I've ever seen it. And let's keep in mind, in these trade talks, the Jets are desperate. They're 0-7. Aaron Glenn does not want to be fired. He's a really good coach, but his quarterback play's been awful. When in the history of the NFL has a backup quarterback ever demanded a second-round pick? I can't think of a single situation. I'm in disbelief, and this might be NFL collusion, because there's no way you won't play him and you won't trade him, despite him looking better than the starter Dylan Gabriel.
Nah, too unrealistic, even for Cleveland. And yet, you almost have to laugh because there's a twisted poetry to it all. Cleveland's football identity is chaos. At this point, it's not a bug, it's the brand. If the Browns ever had a peaceful, drama-free season, the entire city might short-circuit from confusion. They'd have to invent a crisis just to feel normal again. And right at the center of it all, Jimmy Haslam, the perfect ringmaster in this circus of mayhem. His idea of leadership feels like spinning a giant wheel of misfortune.
Business is it when you've got a 5'9" quarterback running around and could twist an ankle, and Shedur would have to play Sunday in Foxborough, and he's not getting any reps? That seems like bad preparation, no?
It does. You wouldn't question it if you know you had a backup.
If it was Kelly Holcomb, yeah, right. If it was, yeah, right. I wouldn't. It's not. It's a kid they haven't. He hasn't taken first-round team reps with anybody yet.
It's almost like, you know, the coach is saying, "Okay, you gave me 2 rookie quarterbacks. I'm going to prepare one of them, and we'll see what happens if he goes down."
Well,
it's not
just to see which position blows up next. It's wild. It's tragic. It's Cleveland. Meanwhile, the PR team must be prepping for overtime because the spin cycle's about to hit record speed. Every press release will be another masterpiece of corporate acrobatics, dodging, deflecting, and dressing disaster in polished sentences. And through all of it, Shedur, he's staying cool as ice. No outbursts, no passive-aggressive posts, no side-eye interviews, just pure professionalism. And that's what makes this whole saga even funnier. While the front office is throwing darts blindfolded, the rookie is the only adult in the room. It's almost poetic. Cleveland just can't help itself.
Browns are in New England looking to start a win streak for the first time since the 2023 season as they take on the Patriots Sunday afternoon. But they now have a 3rd injury to report entering the game. On Saturday, quarterback Shedur Sanders was added to the Browns injury report. He's dealing with back tightness. He's questionable for the game, joining tight end David Njoku, and defensive tackle Aiden Huntington is questionable. Njoku with a knee injury, Huntington in concussion protocol. The Browns elevated Bailey Zappi from the practice squad to the active roster as a precaution, but whoever is there QB2 on Sunday. The Browns are looking to continue seeing growth from rookie Dillon Gabriel as he gears up for his 4th NFL start.
You could hand them a generational quarterback, a solid roster, and the perfect shot at redemption, and somehow they'd still find a way to fumble the script like it's tradition. This isn't bad luck anymore. It's muscle memory. So, here we go again. Another season, another quarterback controversy, and another round of confusion, all wrapped up in that classic Cleveland chaos that keeps the NFL watching in disbelief. Served piping hot straight from Jimmy Haslam's kitchen of chaos, Cleveland's latest injury update might just be the wildest thing the NFL's seen all season. The report says uncertain, the fans say unbelievable, and the rest of the league, they're laughing, shaking their heads, and saying, "Classic Browns." You can practically hear the echo of rival fan bases cracking up across the internet. It's the kind of meltdown only Cleveland could turn into a headline.
The Jets asked the Browns about Shedur's availability to be traded, and the Browns said they wanted a 2nd-round pick. Keep in mind, they drafted this man with the 5th-round selection. He has not played in a regular season NFL game, but yet they want a 2nd-round pick for him. Now, magically before the trade deadline, Shedur is listed as questionable today due to a back injury and inactive versus the Patriots. And they elevated their practice squad quarterback Bailey Zapp to be QB2. Translation, the Browns never had any intention of playing Shedeur Sanders. Literally listed this man as inactive, so there'd be no chance he could possibly play even if Dillon Gabriel was terrible or got hurt. Browns fans, Kevin Stefanski.
But maybe, just maybe, that's the true legacy of this franchise. They're not just out here playing football, they're putting on a full-blown show. The Browns aren't chasing trophies, they're redefining what chaos in the NFL really looks like. Every press conference is a plot twist, every injury report a cliffhanger, and every decision somehow ends up trending before kickoff. And through it all, Shedur Sanders' name refuses to fade. He's not trending because of a mistake. He's trending because Cleveland couldn't handle a little bit of hope, a touch of promise, and a quarterback who just might have been too good for their circus. Shedur didn't lose. He just became the latest star trapped in Jimmy Haslam's never-ending football soap opera. Because in Cleveland, nothing is ever simple. Even an injury report isn't just news. It's drama, mystery, and meme material all rolled into one explosive headline. So what do you think? Did the Browns just sabotage their own future again? Or is this all part of Haslam's twisted master plan? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this with your fellow fans, and don't forget to subscribe. See you on the next one.